I've had this video idea for a while, but I kept pushing it off because Natasha just kept launching more and more palettes. But today I went through all of my Natasha Denona midi palettes and I popped out all the shades that kind of call my name or shades that I just really like in general, and I made my own little Natasha Denona palette. But I had a lot of fun picking out the shadows to make my little palette here. So if you want to kind of dig through some Natasha palettes with me, create a little palette, and of course I did this eye look using this palette, go ahead and keep on watching. I am so excited to get started on my custom Natasha Denona palette. So here's what I have. I purchased a new Z palette. This is just the medium D. I thought it'd just be easier to buy a whole empty Z palette that's magnetic instead of like taking all the shadows out of one palette, you know what I mean? And then just because like I'm clearly a channel that does tutorials, I bought these little stickers that I'm gonna write the palette and shade number on it when I create my own version, so that if I ever need to put my shadows back, I know exactly which palette it goes into. I'm gonna set this palette aside for now because I'm just gonna start by pulling out my favorite shades from the Natasha Denona midi palettes. So I have 11 palettes to go through, and I'm just gonna pick out kind of my favorite shades, the shades that really call to me. I'm assuming that my custom palette's gonna turn out pretty neutral with maybe some pops of colors, but I'm excited. Like, I'm just excited to go through this and pick out my favorites. Okay, I'm actually gonna go into the palette that I think I'll probably pick a lot from, which is My Dream, because this is one of my favorite Natasha palettes. Because I already know I'm gonna take this black out of here, and I'm just using like a little lash tool to poke out the bottom hole. I love this black shade. I use it all the time, so I know I'm gonna keep that. Even though I'm pretty sure I'll remember this one, I am gonna write D for Dream, and this is shade number 1. Is this gonna fit on the back? Please fit, please fit. Oh yeah. I think these stickers are 3/4 of an inch, in case you're wondering. I can link them down below for you, of course. Okay, also from this palette, I love the shade Babies right here. I could probably write on the back of these shadows too, but you know, I'm going the sticker route today. I'm trying to think. I do love Nurture as well because it is more of like a neutral tone brown, so I'm gonna pull that one out. Yeah, I should probably move on to another palette though, since I've already pulled out 3 shades out of one palette and I have like 10 more to go through. Let's kind of put these over here. Okay, let's go into Retro Glam. I really love this Flutter shade because it's like a nice highlight shade. I love having just a solid light shimmer highlight shade in any palette that I use. I don't know, I might eventually pull some of these greens, but as of now, oh, I do like this Oscar shade a lot. Maybe I'll grab out that one. Loving this color story so far. I pulled out my pastel palette, although I don't think I'm gonna pick any shades from this. Like, I don't want any of these in my palette. I'm not in the mood for this. Ooh, Yucca. I love all these shimmers. I'm gonna pull a couple of these. Do a little swatches here, because these two I think are kind of similar. Oh, see, those are both so pretty. I think I like this one better. Okay, so this is going to be Y for Yucca. Number 3. I kind of like this deep brown shade, and I'm pretty sure I do want a deep brown on my palette. I'm gonna pull that one out. Let's move on for now. Next, I have my Love palette. I'm not really feeling any of these colors. I don't really want any pinks or reds or purples, so I'm gonna pass on this one. Next is the Sunrise palette. Ooh, I do love a kind of berry shade like this. Let's pull that out. You know, I do need a good crease shade, kind of like a warm crease shade. I like this Morgan one. I think I'll pull that one out too. And again, I'm just pulling out the shades that are like kind of calling to me right now. All right, Glam. Whew. I do love a pinky shade like this. Is that kind of similar to Babies? Let's swatch these two. Center eyelid and then that inner corner I want to swatch. That's pretty. Let me swatch Babies next to that center eyelid one though, because those might look kind of similar. Oh, those are actually pretty dang close. Honestly, out of those two, I actually prefer this pinky one. This one has like, I want to say a little bit more rose gold to it. I kind of prefer this one. Okay, I'm actually going to do a little swapperoo here. So I'm going to put Babies, yep, Dream 5, back into that palette and pull out this center eyelid. I just love a good pinky undertone on the lid. Yeah, okay. What else we got in here? I already got a good highlight shade. What about my browns? So for browns, I have these two. Excuse me. I feel like this one I pulled out, I don't know, who is this from? My Dream. It's kind of like a mixture of like those two together, so I probably don't need either of those two. And then I love just this solid, deep brown. And I don't think I need that because I have a solid black and I'd rather have a black than that one. I do like this kind of taupey shade, this outer eyelid. Ooh, that's pretty. I'm gonna pull out that one. Okay, we got something happening here. Do I need a light brown like this? No, I think I'm good for now. Okay, I'm gonna put Glam aside. Wow, that one was messy, huh? Look at Retro. Ooh, I do love a lot of these shades in Retro. Oh yeah, I love this kind of cool toned Andy shade. I like these two as well. I'm also looking at these two shimmers. Okay, there's a couple I want to pull from here that I'm just like in the mood for. I'm gonna start with Andy. So this is Retro, yeah. I always get Retro and Retro Glam mixed up in my head. Liking that. I did pull out this one from Sunrise. Just comparing it to like these two shades right here. I think I kind of prefer how more berry these two look, where this one pulls a little bit more red. So I might do a little swapperoo here, but I want to swatch these two. Got Groove. Ooh! Rebellion. Oh, don't like that. I love Groove though. Let me swatch this one from Sunrise as well. Yeah, out of those three tones, I definitely like this one the best. So I think I'm actually gonna put this one back in Sunrise. Sunrise 11. Perfect. Retro 6. Decided I don't need that one. I am liking these little pinky ones right here. Let's see, Glitz and Psychedelic. This is Glitz and Psychedelic. I'm not obsessed with either of those right now, so I think I'm gonna pass on those. I do like this nude mauve shade. Let's pull that one out too. I'm really hoping that this palette doesn't turn into like my palette with Sigma, but it's like, I like the shades I like, you know what I mean? Okay, I'm gonna set Retro aside. Let's look at bronze. Oh, I kinda wanna swatch this one. Palladian? Nope, that's not. Palladium. Oh, that's really pretty. Oh, I do like Silk though too. I think that's too warm for what I want. I do want something a little bit more cool tone for, you know, winterish. We're in November. Yeah, I'm gonna pull out Palladium. I mean, looking at the rest of these shades, nothing's really speaking to me, just because this does lean really warm. Xenon. I already know I'm pulling out Skift. I said in a video that I love this shade and I love how it's a little more of a champagne. And I think this will be really cool in my palette. So we're gonna do Xenon. This is 15. Any of these other shades, honestly, I don't love. Yeah, I think that's all I want from Xenon. And I need a nude. I love the shade Muse. I'm pulling that one out 100%. I do also love these shades, either Stone, Tender, or Mesh. Like, I tend to use one of these whenever I use this palette. I think I'm gonna pull out Stone. I'm gonna keep this out for a second, but I wanna kind of like arrange these shadows and see what I'm working with. This really warm shade is just throwing me off, so I'm gonna put this one back. This is Sunrise. Apparently I didn't like my Sunrise shades because those both went back. Okay, let me kind of arrange these in a way that makes sense to my brain. Okay, these 5 shades are giving me like kind of cool tone vibes. I don't know if I'm liking this kind of warmer copper one, so I think I'm gonna put that back. That was bronze. This is why I'm happy, why I wrote the shades down. I'm loving this pop of little green right here. I love this shade. This is for sure. Loving this one. Ooh, even that's like a fun little color combo right there. These are all the very, very similar tone. Am I like into cool tones right now? This is kind of funny. I think we need to do some swatches. But as I'm looking at this, I think I do want to pull out Silhouette just because I love a deep brown in a palette as well as a black. Like, I like to have both. Is this starting to look like my palette? Are you serious, Angela? That's funny because I have my highlight shade. Oh, I don't have a black. Oh, that looks very similar to Zinfandel, Angela. And then Hollywood has very similar vibes to this one. I love this shade though, and I need a dark brown, but that's really funny. I'm really liking how this shade looks. This is the one from Xenon. I'm also liking the cool toneness of this one too. And I like these two shades. Are those two similar though? Let's swatch these two. Is this the one from, that's from Nude. Honestly, this one's swatched much better. This is the one from Retro, so I'm gonna put Stone back. And then I like this one for just a neutral brown. This one's from My Dream. I believe this is Nurture. Yeah, like I love just having a solid brown shade to throw in the crease, so I'm gonna keep that. This one I don't know if I'm needing as much now that I threw in Silhouette, because those are just, like, they're gonna look very similar on the eyes, even though the undertone is just slightly different. This one was from Yucca 11. Okay, see now that I'm like, what if I pull out this one? I love this Elation shade. Pulling that out, that's kind of fun and different. What is this undertone vibe I'm so into right now? Okay, wait, let me write down this shade name. I need to swatch these three shades because clearly I'm like really into them right now. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, they all look pretty different swatched out, so that makes me happier. I believe this is the one from Xenon. This one from Yucca has a little bit more of a gray undertone to it, while this one, who are you? You're from Glam? This one has more of a little bit of a purpley undertone, so while they kind of look similar next to each other, they are giving me different vibes, so I am going to keep all three of those. I am also liking this shade a lot, this kind of more mauve-y one. I think that'll go great with that. It's very messy, you guys. Like, I am covered in shadow right now. I'm going to swatch these two. 1, 2. Oh, those are kind of fun and different. I like they look kind of boring on their own, but once they're swatched out, I think they are really pretty. So let's keep those in here. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I only need one more shade. What? How am I already almost done? I'm shocked right now. I'm gonna clean off with some micellar water. I always keep this next to me when I'm doing any kind of swatch videos because this just helps get rid of everything off my hands. Moving things around. I like to have my black shades in the lower corner and I like my lightest shade in the upper left-hand corner. Like, I don't know why, but this is just how I need my palettes to be arranged. You know what I don't have? Is a shade like Fair, like my blending shades. You guys know I love a blending shade. And that's something I need. So I'm actually gonna pop that out. There we go. Cute! Let's put these in the Z palette.
Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh yeah, I totally could fit more shades in here, but I wanted to stick with 15 just to keep it true to the midi palette sizes. And I'm feeling good about this color story. Kind of funny because I still pick some kind of more slightly cool toned leaning shades. Apparently I'm pretty into that right now, but I love this little pop of green, this pop of a berry color, but I still have my staple shades like my black, dark brown, blending shade, and highlight shade. Now let's do an eye look using this palette. I went ahead and primed my eye with the Urban Decay Primer Potion. Here is a little close up at the palette that I created. I'm going to write down all the shades that I'm using down below in the description box, so I'm not having to like pick it up and look at each shade before I use it. So if you want to know the exact shades I'm using, they will be listed down below for you. I'm going to start with this brown on a fluffy packing brush, and I'm going to start by packing this shade into my crease. I always find that Natasha's shadows work better with more of a packing motion and less of a like back and forth blending motion, which is why I like to use this brush with her shadows a lot versus just like a fluffy blending brush. I'm gonna bring whatever's left on my brush kind of on the outer part of my lid. Now I'm gonna take this light matte shade and I'm gonna pop that in my inner crease, and that's also gonna help blend out that first brown. I'm just thinking it'd be really fun to do this kind of video like seasonally. So like, you know, every 3 months or so create a new Natasha Denona palette using my existing shades. I think that could be really fun and it'd be a really great way for me to get more use out of my eyeshadow palette collection. I'm gonna take a flat lid brush with this shade and that's gonna go on the outer part of my eyelid. Then on that same brush, I'm going to take this kind of greenish shade, and that's going to go on my inner lid. And then just kind of blending those two shades together where they're meeting in the center. I've just been loving shimmer shadows recently. This is turning out so pretty. For the lower lash line, I'm gonna go back to that brown shade on a pencil brush, and I'm gonna run that across my entire lower lash line. Now I'm going to take a small blending brush with my light shade right here, and I'm going to use that to soften out this brown. I think I want to keep this look pretty soft. I'm just kind of in a softer mood. Now I'm going to pick up that light highlighter shade and pop that in my inner corner and a little bit under my brow. I am going to take the black on a little angled brush and I'm going to stamp that along the outer part of my top lash line. And I am going to flick out that black just to make a tiny wing at the end. Here is the eye look all finished. For my lashes, I popped on the Bright Lashes All Naturel, and this is my lash brand. This lash is one of my favorite, just kind of basic go-to lashes. It's kind of similar to Flutter if you've tried that one from my brand, but All Naturel is just slightly larger and longer than Flutter. This is kind of a softer look for me, but I love the two shimmery shades on my lid. I think they're so gorgeous. I went ahead and finished up my makeup, and here is what the full face looks like. I had so much fun at picking out these shadows today and just grabbing the shades that really call my name and the shades that I'm really drawn to in these palettes. I love the color story I created, and I love how it's a little bit on the softer side, but there are some little fun pops of color in there. I just hope this video inspires you to go through your eyeshadows, maybe pick out some shades that you love, especially if you have Natasha shadows like this that you can pop out of the palettes. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.